laugh too much.
Our abandoned videos are some of our most popular videos, and like with everything, these stories keep evolving. We like to stay up to date with everything that happens to the attractions, and in this case, animatronics. Today, we're revisiting our Abandoned Animatronics videos. This video is possible thanks to our Patreons. We also have new awesome merch based on our Abandoned series. Check out Walt as an animatronic. There's a link in the description. Country Bear Jamboree Animatronics. The Country Bear Jamboree opened first at the Magic Kingdom in 1971 and then at Disneyland in 1972. This stage show is full of animatronic bears who play different numbers of country music. In the audience, we can see 3 animatronic animal heads that interact with the characters on stage. These animatronics are Buff, Max, and Melvin. These characters give the audience an idea of the friendly comedic style of the show that's about to start. They interact and react to the action on stage, and even take part in some of the musical numbers, and sometimes they will end up arguing with each other at various points in the show. This show is charming and funny and a favorite of many guests who can still experience it when they visit Walt Disney World. The same cannot be said of Disneyland's Country Bear Jamboree, which closed back in September 2001 to be replaced by the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Disneyland's Country Bear Jamboree had 2 stages. That means that there were 2 audio animatronics of each character. When the ride closed, Imagineers had to figure out what to do with these animatronics. Some of them were taken to the Walt Disney Archives. Others were sent to the Magic Kingdom so their parts could be used as replacements. And here's where it gets tricky. The set of animatronic heads of Max, Buff, and Melvin remained at Disneyland. Imagineers decided to leave Buff, Max, and Melvin inside the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. In the Heffalumps and Woozles scene, you can turn back and find them, checking out the whole scene. In our last video, we received lots of comments saying that these mounted heads are not the animatronic heads from the show, but rather the ones that could be found in the mile-long bar at Disneyland. The reason we wanted to revisit this is that that is not correct. Back in 2002, when the Winnie the Pooh ride was being built, Mouse Planet interviewed people who were working on this ride, and this is what they said. They are the exact same heads that came from Theater 2 at Disneyland, and they had been stored for the last year in the Haunted Mansion show building beneath the graveyard scene set, where the ghosts are having a tailgate party on the back of a hearse. They've just been sitting there waiting to be installed in the new Pooh ride. So that means that the Max, Buff, and Melvin that we see in the ride are the exact same ones that could be found in Theater 2 at Disneyland. We also checked the official Disney Parks blog, and this is what they said. Max, Buff, and Melvin, the 3 talking trophy heads from the show, have taken up residence inside the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So apparently, these are the original animatronic heads from the attraction. People think that because the heads don't show the joints or the moving parts, that they're not the animatronics. But then that would also be the case of the Harold animatronic we can find in Mission Breakout. There was also another abandoned animatronic from this show. One of the Max heads ended up abandoned and collecting dust under the elevated Doom Buggy track in the seance room at Disney World's Haunted Mansion. But according to sources, he's not there anymore. Horizons Animatronics. Horizons was a fantastic attraction that opened on October 1st, 1983 in the Future World Pavilion at Epcot. This attraction took us into the future of what Earth might look like based on scientific advancements. This was kind of a sequel to the Carousel of Progress. The Carousel focused on the past, and Horizons took place almost entirely in the future. The attraction had a lot of very impressive animatronics in different scenes from the past and the future. It had sections like Looking Back at Tomorrow, where guests were shown visions of the future as perceived from the era of Jules Verne. Then, they were shown visions of futuristic life in cities, deserts, undersea, and even in space. And in the end, guests could choose the path they wanted to take back to the future port. You could choose the space station Brava Centauri, depicting space colonization, the desert farm of Mesa Verde, depicting arid zone agriculture, or from the Sea Castle Research Base, depicting ocean colonization. Sadly, Horizons was closed on January 9, 1999. The building remained empty for over a year, and the animatronics were abandoned. For a long time, some of these animatronics were piled up under the Carousel of Progress. in the basement, directly under one of the stages, the animatronics of Jules Verne, the dad from Mesa Verde, and what appears to be the astronaut from the Brava Centauri space station were stored and used for parts for the Carousel of Progress animatronics. But these animatronics have now been removed. Some of them went home with Imagineers, others were completely recycled, and the rest? We'll never know. Maybe all the parts that could be used have been used, and there's nothing else left of them. Funtown Mountain Animatronics. Guntown Mountain was a Wild West theme park that opened back in 1969 in Cave City, Kentucky. As time went by, the park started losing popularity, and this meant that each year fewer and fewer guests visited the park, which led to its demise and closure in 2013. The park remained completely abandoned for 2 years until 2015 when a man named Will Russell bought it, changed its name to Funtown Mountain, and reopened it. To do this, he planned to raise funds with a carnival road tour through 20 states where there would be a live band, a menagerie of freakish animals, and other strange memorabilia. But sadly, everything went wrong with his plan. Russell lost thousands of dollars, but despite this disaster, he reopened the park. This park's concept was pretty interesting. Part of the park kept the same abandoned areas like the ride carts and a souvenir shop with unique and strange merchandise. It also had new attractions that had great animatronics like a haunted hotel. In addition to the haunted hotel's animatronics, Funtown Mountain also had Mitzi, Fats, and Billy Bob animatronics from the Rock-afire explosion, which you can learn more about here, and a set of the Wolfpack 5 animatronics that was restored by none other than the legendary Aaron Fector and remain in the Creative Engineering warehouse. Sadly, the park stayed open for less than a year because Russell's mental health was not stable. In one of his worst episodes, Russell started to destroy and vandalize the park, leaving it devastated, and the Rock-afire animatronics were abandoned in the dark and left to rot. After these episodes, the city shut down the property and put it up for auction. It was then bought by David Froggatt Jr. and reopened under the name of Froggatt's Guntown Mountain. We know that the Wolfpack 5 animatronics were restored and are now in the Creative Engineering warehouse, as we said before, but we didn't know what happened to the Rock-afire explosion animatronics. Turns out they were bought by Jack Turner and his father. These two animatronic enthusiasts dedicate their time to restoring animatronic robots. Jack, a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan, decided to buy and restore these animatronics from Funtown Mountain as an educational project so he could learn more about electronics. It took Jack about a year and a half just to restore Mitzi. According to Turner, the animatronics were not in an awful state, but they didn't work at all, and there was a lot of work to be done on them so they could work again. Back in 2017, Jack planned on keeping Billy Bob as it was and turn Mitzi, who is missing her original face, into a whole new character. But he ended up selling her to Reddit user Mitzi_Mozzarella. Hopefully, Billy Bob is still with Turner and working perfectly. Five Nights at Freddy's Animatronics.
Hello, welcome to Fastpass Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life.
Five Nights at Freddy's is an awesome franchise for people who love animatronics as much as we do. There have been lots of things inspired by Scott Cawthon's creation, including toys, books, and of course, attractions. The first Five Nights at Freddy's inspired attraction was Fright Dome, which opened in September 2016 at the Circus Fright Dome. The attractions brought to life the infamous Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. It used to change every day it was open, so it would have new jump scares at different locations. The rooms vaguely recreated the scenes from the first game, and figures of each of the animatronics appeared, scaring guests all over. Sadly, these figures were not animatronics, but the popularity of this attraction probably inspired the hopefully upcoming Sally Corporation Five Nights at Freddy's Dark Ride. We've talked about this attraction before. It was presented at the 2016 IAAPA Expo by Sally Corporation. This ride is designed to be a real-time, multiplayer version of the game. This dark ride mixes gaming, animatronics, large-scale video projection, special effects, and immersive sets and scenery. Just like in the game, guests will act as the new night security guards in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where they will have to defend themselves from the malfunctioning animatronics that roam the restaurant at night. Their only weapons will be flashlights that scare the robots away and the ability to shut doors. The ride will have multiple endings, so sometimes the team will be able to survive till morning and sometimes they won't. Sadly, there's no info on when it will be open or even where, but the good news is that this attraction can be acquired by any theme park, so hopefully someone steps up and builds this ride in their park. But that doesn't mean there are no Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics in existence today. Back in 2015, a YouTuber by the name of Dr. Creepypasta created the first animatronic Freddy Fazbear. This animatronic might not have been the most advanced one, but it was certainly terrifying. It can move and talk and can be programmed to do and say different things too. He first created this animatronic for his personal entertainment and as a hobby, but after a while, he decided to share it with the world and created a YouTube channel where he posted lots of videos and updates about the animatronic. After his videos began gaining popularity, he decided to create animatronics for the rest of the band, so he created separate animatronics of Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Springtrap. He continued sharing videos of his animatronics until about 2 years ago. Then, last year, the animatronics appeared to be on sale on Craigslist for $25,000. We're not sure who bought them or if they were even bought, but we hope they're safely stored and not abandoned somewhere. What do you guys think? Any other abandoned animatronics that you would want us to cover? Let us know in the comments.